Welcome to the first professional 10-leg master strategizer. It's been created in Apple numbers. I'm using a MacBook M2. As you scroll around the document, it'll move at a fairly fast speed. If you've got a lot of other browser windows open, perhaps in Safari or Chrome, it might slow down a bit. There's about 500,000 lines of code, so that explains that it's obviously doing a lot of processing when you're resizing. I tend to resize from here anyway. As you can briefly see, there are 6 sets of charts here. You've got your blue charts and you've got your green charts. And what I've done is basically created what I call the initial strategy. So for example, you might have an iron condor, you might have a jade lizard, you might just simply have a long call. But you might want to know what would happen to that position. For example, if, I don't know, interest rates suddenly go up, or perhaps there's a 10%, 20% correction in the markets and the price of your asset crashes. So what happens is basically this table here, let's zoom in. This top table on the left in blue, see the blue border? That's your initial positions. And as you can see, there's 10 legs. And so you can choose long call, long put, short put, long asset, short asset, or you can be flat. And so effectively what you're doing is you're going to set up a strategy. It's cumulative in the sense that everything that's happening here, for example, you've got a long call. If you then have a short call in leg 2, all of these metrics here, the premiums, the delta, everything gets added up. And so when you come down here to choose what you want to basically display, this is the chart controller for the blue chart in blue here. You can see the blue background. This is the chart controller for the green what if scenario. You can basically set everything up and then everything will be added up cumulatively. So all of these features here, you know, your price, your delta, your gamma, all of this is cumulative. So what that simply means is that if I have 2 legs open, for example, say a short call and a short put, then I will see the accumulative total of the delta, the gamma, for both legs. And if I add another leg and perhaps do a jade lizard, then, for example, by adding an extra leg, you will then get more metrics, more additions, more cumulative outputs from these cells. The idea behind it was quite simple. I'd literally had about 8 or 9 positions, mainly, if memory serves right, this was back in 2022. I mainly had weekly and daily strangles, and basically they were on the pound dollar. The pound dollar had a mighty crash, the worst retail sales figures in literal history. And the markets moved incredibly fast, and I was using IG Index. In England we don't have great sort of software for, you know, cumulative working out what your total sort of exposure is with options, and my positions got decimated, and I tried to defend them, and I had no way of really knowing how bad it was going to get, and it did. Over the next 2 weeks it just, I wiped out about 6 months of profits and some more. I'd made about 4,000%, I think, within about 6 months. But anyway, so what you're looking at is basically a way to systematically, accurately know exactly what your exposure is for any option strategy you have. At the very top here, you've got tabs. You've got all the instructions, very detailed instructions how to use it. It explains everything clearly. You've also actually, within the spreadsheet, you'll see these little triangles here. Here's one, delta. And so you've got like basically these comments, and they're everywhere throughout the calculator to help you and guide you and explain theory, etc. I've got a product license. I've got basically numbers that are coded into this to protect my copyright. You've also got an overview. This is the profit and loss. This is your blue bordered initial positions, and this is your, what we've got here, initial strategy, net profit and loss for each leg. You've got your initial trade count type. Is it a long call, short call, long asset, etc. Initial leg delta exposure in a pie graph. And the same thing happens again with the green bordered what if scenario. And what this means is it means that you can literally change any input parameter to the BSM Black-Scholes-Merton model and effectively see, in terms of what the option premium will be, if, for example, you change the asset price, perhaps you change it by 20%, there's been a major market crash, what will be the impact? And all of that is reflected within these metrics and within these graphs. Strategiser portfolio profit and loss. So as you can see here, it's all basically detailed. You've got everything you would ever need to know about your risk. So anyway, that is basically a mirror of what is along the very top row of this particular tab here. If you scroll across, you'll see the same metrics and the same pie charts, and they're there. So it's just a simple tab just to basically accumulate everything in one place